Back again with Andrew Marques of Cape Ann Savings Bank to tell us the latest story on all the SBA loans that are affecting the small business community. How you doing, Andrew?
Great. Thanks for having me again. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, so what can you tell us? What are the latest developments?
Yes. So the latest is a second round of funding has been approved by the House and Senate, and I believe at this point awaiting the president's signature to make it law, and then will be implemented by the SBA. So we're excitedly awaiting more news from the SBA's regional offices regarding the opening of the E-Tran portal where we process the applications. But as a bank, we have a queue of existing applications that unfortunately we weren't able to process before the funds ran out, and then new applications that have been coming in over the last couple weeks, or 10 days, really.
And now the second time around, do you see if there's a process a bit simplified on the banker's end?
Well, we have a much better understanding of the process and exactly what to collect, and we've had a chance to digest the guidance. So that certainly helped on the borrower side of things. There's more FAQs were released by the SBA to answer some nuanced issues that we were bumping up against based on the guidance and information we had already. So I think bankers are able to handle the applications and upload that more efficiently, and I think it will be a little smoother. We don't expect any significant changes to the process on the borrower side. Some changes with the new law, I guess, or the new funding round. They're actually allocating more money to small banks like Cape Ann Savings Bank and other community lenders to ensure that more money reaches smaller businesses that may have been shut out or simply didn't have time to get it before some larger businesses loans went through.
You know, Andrew, there's been all this controversy about those very large entities, some of them, very large entities that received funding, and many of them will have to return the money. Will those funds get pulled back into these new funds? Do you have any idea?
That's a great question, and I imagine they took some of that into consideration when coming up with the new funding level. But yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, especially from our customers' perspective. We're not dealing with those large corporations, so that added to the timing of the funds being used up, and also affected who was able to access those funds and how many businesses were able to benefit from it.
So is there any sense of urgency this time that the money might run out again? Are you feeling that?
Yes. Yep. We're working with people that have applications in place to make sure that all the documentation's there, and anticipate a speedy use of those funds again, because as more information reaches the general public about them, we are still seeing demand. Not quite as many applications as the first round, but I do think other institutions had a lot still in their pipeline that they were waiting to process. So a combination of additional applications and the existing ones that simply weren't processed before the funds were used up. So I think they will be used, the new funds allocated towards the program will be used up quickly again. I do believe so. So we're waiting for that notification, and we'll jump on immediately to start getting our businesses the funding that they are requesting.
Great.
Do you have any idea, Andrew? I mean, Cape Ann Savings Bank has been such a central part of the community for forever, it seems. How many businesses you're actually helping at this time?
I don't have the exact number, but we had over 160 approvals in place beforehand, and that included corporations all the way down to sole proprietors and self-employed individuals. So we've also taken in a bunch more. I don't have the final numbers in front of me, but between Cape Ann Savings Bank and other SBA lenders in Cape Ann, the greater Cape Ann area, I know that hopefully everyone's able to access the funds that want to and need to access the funds.
Can you comment at all on just the importance of local banks and banking, and your role in the community and how you've been able to help your clients?
Yeah, I'll take the opportunity to brag a little bit. I think I'm a big advocate of local banking. Obviously, I've kind of come up through the ranks of Cape Ann Savings Bank and now do lending there. And I think it's important in the personal feel of having a banking relationship, especially on the commercial side. Banking is all about the relationship and having two-way communication, and being able to have a point person to help with answer questions, take applications, and similar problem. If a problem arises, I answer calls all the time, and it's not necessarily in my department or something I can handle directly, but I'm happy to connect them with the person that will. And we're able to communicate, I think, more efficiently and effectively with people, and the chain to a decision maker is much smaller. So I have direct line to Bob Gillis, who is the president of the bank and chairs the board, and he's able to help me directly, where the chain of command is much larger for larger national banks. So I think it's really important. I think Gloucester and the Cape Ann area is very fortunate to have as many local banks as it does have. Fortunately, the number is kind of consolidated in the last 10 years or so, but it certainly still has more than other communities across the country. So, I think having a local bank relationship is really good, and we're able to work with small businesses, and that's part of the thought process behind allocating a good chunk of money in the new funding round towards local banks who work with smaller businesses.
Could you comment on the general health of the business community? Maybe not necessarily right now. Everyone's really hurting acutely, but going into this, and how you see the community in a year from now, given hopefully the pandemic is resolved in 6 months.
Yeah, I put on my economist hat there. It's really tricky to say. I think things were really humming along. Beginning of 2020, there are still some signs. At the end of 2019, early 2020, if you look at certain economic indicators, yield curve is something banks always look at is the relationship of long-term and short-term interest rates. But I think overall, especially locally in Cape Ann and Massachusetts, we have a pretty diverse and robust economy that was really humming along, and we saw businesses doing well and contractors doing well. Real estate values were at least steady, if not still increasing. So it would be really interesting to see how we kind of work our way out of this. And I feel for every business owner out there. We're all just in survival mode, and that's part of my driving force in terms of why we're all working hard, is to make sure that we're able to provide the funds available and do what we can for our customers to make sure that that's available, and help our businesses get through this, bridge the gap, and ultimately come out the other side as healthy or maybe stronger, and kind of work from there.
Andrew, have you heard of any other potential relief efforts for small business owners? I mean, I know there's the EIDL and the PPP. Is there anything else in the works, or things that you know of?
From a federal level, I don't know of anything specific, but statewide, I think there's been private and public programs that are in process of launching or have already launched. And actually a great resource for me in kind of keeping up to date with that is the Chamber of Commerce. They provide email updates if you're on their email list, and they provide some good information and links to different options out there. In fact, I was talking to one of my clients, and it didn't quite make sense for them to go the Paycheck Protection Program route, but I was able to get her the link for potential grant opportunity for minority and woman-owned businesses in Massachusetts. So, I do think there's a lot of options. It takes a little legwork maybe to find it, but using resources such as the Chamber of Commerce and other business related organizations, SBA has a few satellite offices that help directly with business owners, kind of through SCORE and other organizations, help develop business plans and more guidance than a banker can really provide.
Right. So lastly, is there any news on the new Cape Ann Savings Bank branch up at Gloucester Crossing?
I haven't heard anything. It's still in the planning phase, and I know there's a lot of certainly approvals that are required on the city level, I believe, for the layout. So I haven't heard anything, but I wouldn't be the first person to hear it either. So I wish I had some more insight, but it is in the works, and we are very excited as a bank to be opening up there and have up-to-date facilities. It'll have a drive-through as well as traditional tellers and walk-up windows, things like that. So we're excited to be part of the development up there, and so it'll be another addition to the community. And I don't think we'll ever leave Main Street Gloucester at all. And that's obviously our headquarters, and we are happy to be downtown, but we also want to have a good building to be able to provide more services and convenience to our local customers.
Well, thanks again for your time, Andrew. We know it's the busy season times 10 right
now. Yeah. In trouble.
So we'll be in touch soon. So we appreciate the update.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks again.
Take care.